Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I am Amber J. Lawson. Amber J. stepping in for Dr. JACALYN today. She's in the back pulling the levers and all the switches as we step into today's Woman's Prerogative. Our topic today is, can men and women be friends? I introduce and welcome the panel. Bring up the panel. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Woo! Hi, JENETTA.
Hi, Jay.
Hello, Kathy.
Hello.
Oh my gosh.
Hi, Amber J. Hi. Samantha,
Hi.
Kathy. Hi, everyone. Hi to all the viewers.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here once again. Hi.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, we are going to hop right into today's topic. Talk about some hot topics. So I am curious. I'd like to go around the horn. When you heard that our topic today was, can men and women be friends? What was the first thing that popped into your mind? Let's just go around the horn. JENETTA.
Well, it's very controversial. I don't think I can be the same friend to a man as I can to a woman, but I have got man friends, but it's a whole entirely different relationship.
Yes. All right. Thank you. Kathy.
No, I don't think that's one word. No, I don't think you can.
Great. I love it.
I'm trying,
this is gonna be
I'm
a
trying
good.
to save time.
Great. Dr. Justina.
It's a very interesting topic, but I also think that it depends on the basis of that friendship.
Beautiful.
I definitely agree with Justina. I definitely believe that it all depends on, the relationship, the understanding, and, setting the boundaries between each other. But also what society thinks is really having an impact on, women, like male and female becoming like really close friends in terms of social, but not intimate. But how society would look at it, I think that's the big problem. But there are some men who are well respected when it comes to having a relationship with a female and, just socially. So I think they can be friends. It's just society sometimes will think otherwise. Mm-hmm.
So I want to create a baseline here so we have a jumping off point. Who on the panel today, what is your relationship status? Are you in relationship? And because I think that will give us a jumping off point as to how we weight those kind of things. Yes? All right, Dr. DESZIREE.
Yes, I'm dating someone online at the moment. Yes, I'm in a online relationship, definitely. Yeah.
Fantastic. See, I'm getting to know each and every one of you a little more. How exciting. I'm single and ready to mingle. I am here for conscious partnership, but I'm also a believer in polyamory. So I am ethically non-monogamous. That is how I navigate life currently. How about that for a little nugget for everyone? All right, Dr. Justina, what is your relationship?
Just like you, Amber. I'm single and free to mingle.
Yes, I'm coming to visit. Kathy.
Very much tied up. Yeah. Married. Yeah.
And how long have you been married?
Let's see. Let me count. 7. Oh, it'll be, 7 years.
Ooh, I'm going to ask you about the 7-year itch theory.
Don't have one. Don't have one. And he better not have one. We're too old for that. We're too old. I mean, come on. We're too old for that. I hope.
How about you, Jenetta?
Yeah, I am. I've just got engaged at the age of
wow.
64 next week, and I've just got engaged. Having said I never would. And really, if I wind back what I've just said, I've had relationships that don't have that basic friendship and trust in it. And it took 6 years of having no relationship before I met this one, because I knew I had to work on myself. And I really do have a friend in Andy. He's my confidant, he's my friend. And my previous people that I have, men that I have had friendship with, were gay. They're the most wonderful friends, fabulous friends in theatre. They listen and they embrace you and they love you. They're amazing friends.
Wait, so just to be clear, your romantic relationships were with gay men?
No, they weren't my romantic, but they were my friendships. And that's where I've found that men up until now have been my friends. And now, having worked on myself for 6 years, I was celibate for 6 years, and then met Andy, and the basis for that friendship was there, and we've grown it and nurtured it and spoken and communicated to bring that friendship to a level with a man I never ever thought was possible.
So, quick question about that. Did you meet in on an app or in a dating scenario, or did you meet through like mutual friends or out in the wild?
No, on the internet.
Okay, so you met under the context of romance, though, not friendship.
Yeah.
Got you. Just wanted to clear that up. All right. So.
And congratulations on your
thank you, Dr. DESZIREE. Thank you. I was not getting married again, and it's just been the most amazing experience.
Wow. So I'm happy that you found the one. Amazing. Big hugs.
Okay, I'm dying to know. Okay, and tell me if I'm putting you on the spot, and I don't mean to. Because I love like plans. I love to hear like all the, have you guys gotten that far?
What, to get married?
Yeah, but if it's none of my business, it's
yeah, of course. Yeah, we were going to do it in here in UK, and we've decided to have it happen in Kenya, which is where my heart is, and so we'll do it in Kenya.
Yeah, I love Kenya.
Awesome.
It's a beautiful place. Yeah.
You know, I'm from Kenya, Dr. DESZIREE.
Oh, wow.
I'm actually from there, yeah. So it's my
home. Yeah. That's amazing. That's awesome. Very exciting.
There we go. But we've gone away from the subject, which is friendship. Spotlight off me.
I want to speak. I believe that each of our relationships, all of our relationships, are meant to have us expose areas of ourselves that get to be looked at, uncovered, and healed. And I'll speak into one of my most transformational relationships is a platonic relationship. Okay, thank you. Is a platonic relationship when I was going through this last round of transformation I did about 6 years ago, Jenetta. I feel like I'm on the same cycle as you. Is we got to see each other so vulnerably and to show up and to not bring sex or sexuality or romance into that relationship was a up level and a new awareness for me, because I did not think it was possible to be in relationship with men and to have intimate, vulnerable, connected, intimate, but not physically intimate nor physically or romantic relationships with someone of the other sex until I experienced what emotional intelligence and transformational work could do to up-level experiencing other human beings and healing my own beliefs, which were probably ancestral, my mother, my grandmother, that was, and societal for that matter, that had me believe that I couldn't, that how could I be this intimate with a man and not be sexual or in a romantic partnership with him? And that was a true breakthrough for me, to have this man to show up for me, see me, protect me, hold space for me, and yet not want, desire, push on anything else.
Wow.
Has anyone else had a kind of breakthrough in platonic relationships with a person of the other sex?
No.
Fair enough.
You go ahead,
No.
Dr. Justina.
The question, which is, can men and women be friends without, can they really be friends, or whatever the question was? And having grown up in a family of both, a big family with both male and female children, I grew up considering the opposite sex as just another person. And also having gone to a co-education school from kindergarten to university, always going with men. So I've got friends, really genuine male friends, because we all come up, growing up together. I don't see how it would be difficult for a woman to have a male friend. For example, if you are growing up in an environment where you are always surrounded by men, for example, in a class where you have half the class is male and half the class is female, I don't see how you would want to be attracted to the whole, all the male students in your class, to be sexually attracted to all of them. And even for the men, I don't see how any male student would want to be sexually attracted to all the female students in the class. So it just depends on perhaps one or two of those in the class could click, as they say, and maybe then become intimate. The rest can really become friends. If you grow up with men, like I said, in my family, in school, and in all these environments, they just become another person. But of course, there are others that you would be drawn to romantically, but it can't be that every man that becomes your friend you should be romantically connected with that person, so to speak.
Yeah. So have you found that one of the two people wants more than the other? Is that always tend to be the dynamic, that one will want more than the other? Why do you think that is?
I have not, I can't point at any of my friends that I consider to just be friends, to be wanting more than just being friends. The ones that have been romantically connected to, I think it's been clear right from the onset that this is leading this way. So, of course, it is possible to answer the question. It is possible to be friends with men without being romantically or without being intimate or sexually active with them.
I definitely agree with just Dr. Justina. Like I said, there are many great men and women out there who would love to have just a social relationship, whether male or female, or, female to male. But sometimes, like I did mention before, is the fear of society and how society labels the relationship. Just being seen with someone, they would think that they already consider that that's your person. They wouldn't look at it as it's your just a social friend. Being with them or hanging around them very often, people will think otherwise. So I think there is some stereotype when it is where it concern men, like male and female, into like just a normal friendship, just like women on women, and male and male social friendship. It's just that people are scared because every time they are seen with a particular male, especially women, they're labeled by society that they're definitely sleeping with that person. So I think it's society that create these kind of scenarios where if you've been seen with a man, just a male friend, very often going to his home or having that a relationship with him, that friendship, people think otherwise. So people are very skeptical and come in public or being in public with that male friend as just a social friend because they're afraid to be stereotyped in that form. Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
Do we have that assumption? I'm asking the panel as a whole, that when we see a man and woman together, or a man and woman spending time together, that it is assumed that they're in an intimate relationship?
Yes, and that happens a lot, and maybe they're not, but it's just sometimes the community and people will think otherwise. Yeah, so people are. I've seen people in those situations before where they might be just having just a normal, coffee in a coffee shop, and with a male friend, and if they were seen together that quite often in some societies, not all around the world, they will definitely think that you're having an affair. Yes. Mhm.
Okay, I don't think so. I mean, I think that, for example, I could be friends with just a guy, just a man with no strings attached, and not expect anything. But um, as I've thought over the years, and then my husband has confirmed, because we've talked about this, and he's like, "Look, Kath, a guy isn't going to be friends with you unless he's attracted to you. He's going to have some motive or motivation or agenda. It's just the way it is, Kath." And I'm like, okay, I always thought so. But I mean, I don't have, it's like I said, I don't have problems, just, or I would not have a problem being friends with a guy, but you know, I just, I wouldn't say that that guys can. I think that there's a little bit more, like I said, of an agenda, personally.
So we have a question from the audience, from Della Murphy. Hi, great to see you all, you beautiful ladies. I find that younger people appear to be able to handle having male friends. I would love to have lots of male friends, but I worry they will pass the line. Not easy. What about women who are asexual? Now that makes things very hard. So what about do you think younger people have an easier time having relationships, platonic relationships with the opposite sex?
I think Dr. Desiree hit it on the head. It depends on which circles and societies you are mixing with. In more cosmopolitan areas, it might be easier, whereas in closer societies, it might be very tricky to not be immediately labeled. So I think it all depends on where you are and your past reference and their past reference as well. It all depends on the past that's brought into the present to decide what people think they do or don't. So, if they've got past belief systems, that's going to taint that without a doubt. And in fact, one of the things that that's come up is, I mean, how would you feel if your husband had a close friend that you didn't know about? Would that be, because I know in previous relationships, I really battled with that. Not so much in this one, but in previous I did. So what's the thought of others here?
That would be a problem. That would be a real problem, because it's what's there to hide.
Mhm.
If it's just a friendship, then just tell me about it. But I would never buy that it's just a friend. I wouldn't.
But would you be comfortable, though, or you think sometimes it can be based on our own insecurities if we have our husband or a male partner that we are intimate with, and they have a relationship with another female, you know, just as a social friend? Is it based on our insecurities, or will it be based on how actively they are, how their friendship is perceived in terms of, is it like in the public, or is it, you know, behind the scenes, or is it sometimes could be our insecurities? Well, I want you guys to elaborate on this matter.
Well, I
Well, for
am.
me, okay, sorry. Yeah,
Mhm.
for me,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be an insecurity, because it would
Mhm.
be exactly what my husband had told me, that, you know, I mean, you can't just have a friend. So mine mine would be based on, this is what guys do. So I would be like, what's up? Think we have a little problem here.
I'm
Yeah,
curious.
and that's down to, you know, to have understanding. It's about, you know, setting the boundaries and being open to your husband or your partner and letting them know how it's all about your emotional intelligence. Like, how do you feel about it? And you can open up to your partner and, you know, explain to them that, you know, these are the boundaries, and this is how we should, you know, deal with these situations, so that he doesn't make you feel insecure, or you don't feel like there's a threat, or there's something that is unhealthy in terms of the relationship and how you perceive it from your end. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious, JENETTA, about exactly that. What was happening in your past relationships that is so different this time around, where that isn't something that you feel is heavy on your heart or concerned about?
It's the way that Andy handles that. I found in past relationships, it almost came in as part of a power play from time to time. And perhaps the other person's insecurity, feeling that they're attractive and wanted, that there was a little bit of that there. And so for me, it might be possible. I'm not convinced. I'm like Cathy. I just feel that a man is wired up very differently to be attracted, and they can't turn that off just because you're a friend. But I do believe that a lot of that insecurity of having your partner have a female friend has a lot to do with how they handle it, how they speak to you about it, how they think about you first and go, how do you feel, and how can we make it that it is suitable for you, so that there's a communication. You're not feeling like them and me. That's his relationship with her, and I'm not part of it, and that can make one feel very ostracized.
I wanted to say, can you hear me? I've been trying to fit in and so I wanted to say that perhaps there was need to kind of define what friendship meant in this in this question. Like I said, I grew up with a lot of boys around me, and I've got lots of friends that are men. And in fact, these friends of mine throughout my life have been introduced to their wives to say, oh, this is my friend Justina. We went to school together and we were very good friends. We laugh about things sometimes that the wife doesn't understand. But because these are things that happened when we went to school together or university or worked together or something like that. And then I have the wife giving me the respect, almost like the respect of perhaps somebody that respects their sister-in-law. And maybe when there's a problem between them, the wife could reach out to me and say, listen, what this guy is doing. And then I'd have to go to my friend and say, this is not good. She complained about this and that. And then he would go back and apologize. So I suppose not all men want to sleep with each and every woman, like I said, and not all women want to sleep with each and every man. I don't know whether it's to do with culture. Like I said, for me, having grown up in a family full of men and going to school with men, I just consider the other gender as just another person. And those that have just been my male friends have exactly been my male friends. The ones I've been romantically involved with, it's been apparent from, I think, from the beginning that this is the way things are heading to. For my part, in my opinion, from my experience, it is possible to be friends with men, even married men, and to have their wives respect you as a friend of their husband, and sometimes even turn to you when things are wrong to try and mediate in their marriage or in their relationship.
Which is so true. And it really down to the individual, you know, how they respect themselves and respecting that, yes, he's my friend and, you know, he is in a relationship or he has a wife. So you yourself have to set the boundaries and how far you're going to make the person feel uncomfortable, and which is why you as an individual have to be vigilant in how you're handling your relationship, especially if he has, you know, a wife or a girlfriend. So it's all about respecting and putting those boundaries in place as well.
I love that. That's like the emotional intelligence you were just talking about, Dr. DESZIREE, because Dr. Justina, what I'm hearing is you're in that place of emotional intelligence. You're not into sexual play and that game playing or that dance, I call it. But in a lot of societies, it's like a way of life that they don't realize is a choice. They just do it. And when that starts happening, it causes a lot of problems.
Well, and that's owning our divine feminine potency and power, back to, I think, what Kathy said earlier, or right, that men are always going to be attracted to women. It is the polarity. We are the sirens. I mean, we are fabulous. Well, you can't resist us. And so where do we get to have and take responsibility for the energy? And we know the energy we're putting out. We know the energy that's coming back to us. We have the intuitive hits to know, is someone attracted to us in a way that we're not aligned with. And what do we get to, how do we get to, as emotionally intelligent divine beings, create the container in which we stay in relationship with them or don't? So what is our responsibility in that? We don't have any responsibility?
Yeah, I would say that, yeah, you can go ahead, Kathy.
No, all I was going to say is our responsibility is, I mean, I think that you can set the boundaries through your body language, probably more so body language than anything that you say. Doesn't mean you can't be polite. It doesn't mean you can't have a conversation exchange, but I just know, in not in just this relationship, but in previous relationships, I mean, that's just the way that it's always worked with me. I just think that, I mean, I've always just been very careful because I would want the same respect from the other person that I was in the relationship to show as I was. I mean, I'm not saying that you can't have conversations, but I mean, if I'm going to call my male friend over my boyfriend or husband to talk about something other than like a work issue, for me and for my household and this relationship, I would be, I think, crossing the lines, crossing the boundaries, and quite frankly, asking for trouble. And I mean, but that's just the way that relationships have gone previously with me, and this is definitely in the current one. We just try to demonstrate a mutual respect, and I can assure you, if there's ever been a red flag on either side, neither one of us hesitates to address it immediately. But it's really, I can only think of, you know, maybe once in the entire 10 years that we've been together. And but I just think, I think mutual respect.
I have a question for everyone. Who here, and this is salacious, who here has been cheated on?
Yep.
Who here has been the cheater? So is this the container or the story that has us have concerns, fear, hesitation in order to have this point of view of men and women not being able to be friends?
I wasn't quite sure what you meant when you asked that. Just ask it again, rephrase it.
About if you've been cheated, or you're a cheater, or you've been cheated on. And the question is that, so most of us have at one point been cheated on. So is this a story, an experience that has us choose to have a belief that men and women cannot be friends? A fear, like we talked about last week, of death of the relationship, of it ending, of it not being as truthful as we desire or think it is.
I think that's a very complicated question because there's a myriad of reasons. It may be because one's been cheated on before, and it may be for a number of reasons. For me, I found it difficult to trust men, not so much because my first marriage was a big cheat. The man still, he's on his 5th marriage, and he still has a myriad of girlfriends behind the scenes. So I soon got to realize it had very little to do with me. But for me, it was my inability to have a relationship with a man essentially was because I was sexually abused at 7 by a family member. And that member stayed in my immediate sphere of influence for the rest of my growing up life. So my natural instinct wasn't to really trust or like men very much. Fortunately, my dad was an amazing man, so that tempered it a bit. So there was always that bias there in me. But having said that, I still believe, I mean, I did have friends male friends who I knew were happy to be my friend. But I could sense that they were happy to be my friend because they'd rather be with me than without me, but they'd really like more. And part of me felt good on that because I had been so put down. So I would kind of play on that friendship because it made me feel good and important and mattered, but it was out of balance. And I think that's what a lot of those male-female friendships can be about when it involves sexuality as well. And you're trying to say it isn't. And I almost lost respect for the person when they started going, I want a sexual or give the body language of a sexual relationship when we were supposed to just be friends. And then I stopped and thought, well, have I got this person in my life for all the right intentions? Am I in my integrity? And a lot of the time I realized I was with them to make myself feel more powerful, more wanted, more acceptable, more loved, more lovable. And I gently stepped away. So I think it's a tricky dance we dance in having a friendship with a man.
Thank you for sharing so vulnerably. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, but I wanted to say, when we say men, do we include all kinds of men? For example, gay men are some of the most, the best friends that any woman can have. They are still men and they are gay, so they go out with fellow men, but they make very good friendships with women. So we can't put everybody in a bucket.
Yeah, I agree. I actually at the beginning was saying the good friendships I had with men were the ones that were gay. So agree.
But I've said several times, I've had heterosexual men who have just been my friends, and I've been introduced to their wives, and their wives have respected me. I have respected their wives or girlfriends, and we've had those kinds of relationships. I don't know. It could be, I don't know whether I should again go back to my upbringing, why would you see anyone of the opposite sex and be sexually drawn to them? You know, I suppose, like, for me, it's because I had brothers. So some men, I look at them like my brothers, and the ones that I went into school with, and they also looked at me that way. Like my sisters, I have explained, I've been introduced to my friends' wives and girlfriends, and nothing has come in between us. And the wives or girlfriends have also given me that respect, and I've given them the respect. And the man in the middle is my friend. On this side, he remains her husband, and there's no romance or anything like that. And how many people can anyone try to get romantically connected with in the world, whether you're a man or woman, or even to have sex with? How many people would one person want to go having sex with just because this is the opposite sex?
Yeah, I definitely agree 100%. I just want to say, when it comes to where each individual, we're going to use the word respect again.
Yeah.
So also it's about choice. So if you're in a relationship with someone, and say, for instance, your male partner and he has a friend, so it's all about the respect when it comes to respect, and not being considerate of your feelings, and never put you in harm's way where you feel intimidated or insecurity when it comes to that person. And then for the other individual as well, as a woman with morals, with values and high standards and a way of thinking, what if she was in your place, will then know that, I have to be grounded in respect for my friend because he has a wife. So it's all about what you allow in your life, and knowing that you have the power to choose. If you have a relationship where your husband don't respect you when it comes to his female friends, always making you feel like insecure, disrespected, then you have the power to choose, like, is this relationship for me? And likewise, for the other person on the other side who's a friend to your husband or your male partner, then she has an opportunity to play her role and to make sure, as a woman, she is showing respect, knowing her place, and even if the husband make any moves to her, to stand her ground, to knowing that she's a woman where she should respect herself and most importantly, respect that he has a relationship and a partner or a wife. So it's all down to making the right choices, showing respect, using our intuition in what we allowed, in what we put out, and what we accept. But having friends with a male is perfectly okay, but you have to know yourself as a woman that, yes, where I can draw the line is where my male friend, if he's looking for more than social friends, then you know, like, this is not the friendship for me. And this is where you have to draw the line. But like I said in the very beginning, it's okay to have a male that is your friend and respect you 100%. And if that's not the case, as a woman, you should know, well, you know what? This is not happening. I can't be his friend because he's now starting to look for something more than just a friend. So you have the power to choose what you want to do when it comes to this friendship.
And basically what I'm hearing you say, and this entire conversation as we wrap out today's hot topic, is it all comes down to communication. What is my desire in this relationship, and communicating with my partner, communicating with my friends. And it sounds like on our dais today that we have come to the understanding, I don't know what word I'm looking for, is that men and women cannot be friends. They cannot be friends. That seems to be how we've dipped today. So join us next week for more hot topics. Everyone, as we close out, give us a wave, and we will see you next week. Take yourselves off mute. Bye.